please. Sheriff?
We were real happy with it, so we'll just have to see how things go today. It's a little bit hotter. Track conditions may change a little bit, and we may have to adjust it, but we've got one of the best crews at that there is in this business.
Well, best of luck to you today. Now let's go to the man in the third points position with Randy Pemberton.
Well, Alan Kowicki is the pole leader this season, but poles don't pay points. Alan, you pay points by leading laps, the most laps, and leading a lap. What's your strategy today? Do you want to stay out front, lead the most laps you can?
Well, we definitely do. You know, we've got some ground to make up on Bill, and you know, we're in a position that's not going to pay to be conservative, so we're going to run as hard as we can. And you know, the Hooters 4 Thunderbird's running pretty good. It ran well in the last practice, so I'm optimistic about our chances.
Okay, Alan Kowicki certainly has a shot at the win here today and a shot at the Winston Cup title. Glenn?
The man in the points chase everyone is watching is the man who posted the most recent win, as Mike Joy now reports in this week's Haviland Update.
A track record 62,000 fans at North Carolina Motor Speedway witnessed Richard Petty's final race in his home state. But Richard's son Kyle was king for this day. His mellow yellow Pontiac had a view from the front for all but 8 laps and was never passed for the lead on the speedway. TNN's new suspension cam showed the damage to the right front of Mark Martin's car after he brushed the wall on lap 435. Bill Elliott, defending his point lead, here trying to get past Ricky Rudd, turned in a solid effort to increase his advantage over Davey Allison, who would finish 10th. Though Elliott couldn't pass Ricky Rudd for 3rd, and Ernie Irvin wound up 2nd, it was Kyle Petty banking $153,000. 2/3 of that, the bonus for winning from the pole. Elliott leads Davey Allison by 70 points. Alan Kowicki 85 back, Kyle Petty 94 out of 1st, and Harry Gant 113 points back. 2 races to go.
Well, if you folks were watching last week, and I know you were, you know that Kyle Petty led all but 8 laps of the race last week. Are you going to stink up our show like that again?
I hope so. Felix is down, and he finally got out of the hospital, and he's in Florida at the boat show watching it, so I hope it's just as bad this week as it was last week.
Okay, Mike, we'll keep our eye on Kyle Petty. He has been the hottest property in Winston Cup racing in the last few months.
Cast was dedicated to Richard Petty, and today, in addition to Kyle, there'll be this other Petty to deal with. It's Richard's next to last Winston Cup start, his final one on the West Coast, and they have a little special bit of pre-race involving the king of stock car racing. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce track announcer Ted Brown. Ted?
Thank you very much. We'd like to turn the microphone over now to the Vice President of A&I Distributors in Billings, Montana, Mr. Gerald Stevenson, for today's Pyroil 500 starting command.
Thank you, Ted. And on behalf of Pyroil and Valvoline, we'd like to welcome everyone here today, and we're looking forward to a fantastic race. And with us today to give the command is we have Richard Petty, the king. Richard, give us the command.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Packed house here in Phoenix. Aerial fireworks go off, and 42 Winston Cup cars come to light. Rusty Wallace, first pole of the season, beat the track record. Sterling Marlin, 10th front row start of his career. Alan Kowicki won the first race here at Phoenix. He's 3rd. Ricky Rudd. Ernie Irvin, 3-time winner this season. Jimmy Spencer and Bobby Allison's Ford in the 3rd row. Kyle Petty, last week's winner, and Mark Martin had a 3rd here 3 years ago. In the 5th row, Ken Schrader, yesterday's winner on the Southwest Tour. He beat Darrell Walter. 6th row, Mike Walters, best starting spot since July, and Davey Allison, defending champion of this race. In row 7, Derek Cope, former Daytona winner. Rick Mast, who had a top 10 here 2 years ago. Brett Bodine in a Ford and Ted Musgrave, former winner of the Copper Classic here. Dale Jarrett with the Phoenix Cardinals helmet on today, and Bill Elliott, the point leader. Dale Earnhardt, who won this race 2 years ago, and Jeff Bodine, 2-time Phoenix pole sitter. Then Bobby Hamilton, 21st, who made his Winston Cup debut here, and Morgan Shepherd with a 3rd place finish in Phoenix. Jimmy Hensley, Rookie of the Year, and 35-year veteran Richard Petty. Hut Strickland will substitute for Greg Sachs in the Kellogg's car. Terry Labonte, twice a runner-up here. Wally Dahlbeck makes his first start at Phoenix, and Rick Corelli off of the Winston West circuit. Dick Trickle, twice a winner here in Southwest Tour races, and Harry Gant. Blake Speed, his first stock car start ever came here in 1979. Jeff Purvis is there in that 16th row. John Krebs from Winston West, and Scott Gaylord, West Coast driver in Jimmy Means' car. Bill Schmidt goes for his 5th Winston West title today. Dave Marcus in row 18. Then Bill Sedgwick, only 4 points behind Schmidt, and Stanley Smith. Row 20, 33-year-old newcomer Jeff Davis, and Butch Gilliland from Anaheim, California. Ron Hornaday Jr. won the Winston Southwest title. Yesterday, Rick Scribner will start in the 42nd scratch position. Couldn't be a prettier day here at Phoenix. About a half hour ago, it was only 68 degrees, up to 73, and the temperature rising. Just a light little breeze, sunny and mild. Perfect race weather. In-car cameras today. You'll be riding with Rusty Wallace in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac from the pole. Rusty will have a 360-degree race cam shown here. And he'll also be showing us other views as well. That's, of course, off the back of Richard Petty's car as he looks back at the field from the roof cam atop Richard's car. Facing backwards this week. Mark Martin in the Valvoline Ford Thunderbird will also be carrying one of our TNN in-car cameras. There's a look out the front of Mark Martin's car. 360-degree race cam. And there's the roof cam. And suspension cam is back. Let's hope he gets a better ride out of it than he did last Sunday when we showed you those dramatic pictures from Rockingham. Davey Allison, number 2 in the point parade, will also have 2 onboard TNN cameras. He'll have this forward view from the main roll cage hoop of Davey's car, and this view counter to it right out the back window. And the king, Richard Petty. You see the roof cam on the back of the roof of the car this time. On the STP Pontiac, we'll have this view of the rest of the field unencumbered by roll bar or window glass. And also the 360-degree race cam, and you'll see mounted up there on the dash the face cam for Richard's last West Coast ride. Ron Hornaday Jr. yesterday won the Winston Southwest Tour title. Negative x-rays of his crash. He's been cleared to drive today by track physician Dr. Heller. Let's have a look at what happened to Hornaday yesterday. An exhaust pipe loose on the track. He's at the top of your screen. Watch this pipe fly up and rip through the windshield and roof of his car. Also injured his right forearm. X-rays were negative. He was chasing Rick Corelli for that point championship. 1 lap to go. Corelli running in the top 5 spins. Gets T-boned once by Brian Germoni, and then a second time. Corelli will also be in this race today. Hornaday got back on the racetrack, and on the last lap under the red flag, caution flag situation, pushed his car across the finish line to notch the Southwest Tour title. He's in the race today. Rick Corelli will drive this car. He has 2 broken ribs, will be taped up, will start this race and drive as long as he feels he is able, then take the car to the garage. The reason he's starting the race today is to allow him to lock up the Winston West Rookie of the Year title. That was a wild one yesterday. You'll see that over the winter. Tape delay coverage here on TNN. Nearly $700,000 at stake here as we get ready for a start. 42 cars to go the 500-kilometer distance. Getting ready for green. And Greg Bringle waves the green flag to get them started. Elliott, Allison, Kulwicki, Petty, Gant, Martin for the Winston Cup. 2 rounds to go. See how it sorts out. Rusty Wallace will lead this first lap. It's the first time he has led the opening lap of a race since Bristol in August 1991. Look at that pile behind him.
Mike Rusty really sounded confident before the race started. Said he really had his car dialed in practice. It sure looks like it right now.
Sterling Marlin holds the 2nd spot. And then Junior Johnson Percolator Ricky Rudd, Alan Kulwicki lined up right behind. Rudd's on a tear. Had a great run last week at Rockingham and starting right up front today in that tide ride.
Wicky's got a lot on the line to get up there and try to lead this race early and get those bonus points.
We talked to Andy Petrie, top of the show. Harry Gant is unable to gain ground from that 30th starting position as they come past, tracking the Rookie of the Year, Jimmy Hensley. There's Kyle Petty making the move to the inside, moving up a spot. He's got Mark Martin right behind him. Coming around to complete lap 3. And we'll be back with more of the Pie Royal 500 for Phoenix right after we pause for these messages.
What makes a winner?
It's the shoes.
Fast lane shoes. More and more top teams are wearing them, and so can you. Call 1-800-GET-FAST and see if your favorite drivers in the fast lane. Fast lane shoes look just like their cars.
Very awesome.
And performance to burn. It's the shoes. For immediate delivery, call 1-800-GET-FAST. Satisfaction guaranteed.
When Darrell Waltrip needs a part, he needs the right part, and he needs it fast.
And when you need parts, see the parts team at Western Auto. We've got top name brands and thousands of parts in stock. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
And we've got the right price, backed by our low price guarantee, right?
Right, DW. And while you're at Western Auto, pick up Valvoline motor oil at a low Western Auto price. People who know, use Valvoline.
Western Auto, the official auto parts and service store of NASCAR. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
Quote, Dodge Dakota Sport with a new optional 180 horsepower Magnum V6 out-accelerates Ford Ranger and Chevy S10 and does it for under 10 grand. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere. Get $500 cash back on Dakota during the Dodge Dare to Compare Challenge.
Everyone has a reason for reading National Speed Sport News.
He keeps me in touch with worldwide racing news.
I always find out what's happening at CART.
This is where I catch up on my drag racing news.
I read Speed Sport News to get the facts.
I catch up on all the racing gossip in Speed Sport News.
For whatever your reason, National Speed Sport News provides the fastest, most reliable, and objective source of racing news available. Call today, and your first issue will be mailed within 2 weeks.
7 laps in, we're under green, and you're watching out the back window of Rusty Wallace's car at the view he has of the entire field. He's led from the pole all 7 laps. Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Alan Kulwicki. Let's go back a few spots. Kyle Petty and Mark Martin turned in identical qualifying times. The old rule was that the driver that turned the time first got the higher spot. The new rule is that the driver highest in the point standings breaks the tie and gets the further ahead qualifying spot. Kyle started 7th. Mark started in the 8th spot. And they continue to run nose to tail.
Somehow, on the start, Mark got in front of Kyle, and Kyle was able to get back around him. It seemed like he was able to hold him off.
Where are our point leaders? Well, they're battling nose to tail. They did not start the race that way. Davey Allison and Bill Elliott. Allison started 12th. He is faded to now 21st position. And right behind, look at Richard Petty. Petty's moved up 4 spots since the start of this race, including a move underneath Dale Earnhardt 2 laps ago.
Well, I tell you what, Richard have a good run here today. It certainly set this crowd on fire. They've been after him all week. Every night they've got a function for him. And the King, if he could pull one off today, it'd be a miracle.
And I think this might be the kind of race that favors Richard as you ride along with him. This race is only 312 miles, 500 kilometers.
Mike, not only that, Richard ran 4 years here before they ever got a Winston Cup race here. He's run more laps on this track in a stock car than any of the people here.
He's pulling up on Davey Allison, whose car clearly is not running as well as Davey would like. Back in that 20th spot, 19th position rather. After 10 laps of competition, Rusty Wallace leads it. Sterling Marlin, Alan Kulwicki, Ricky Rudd, and Ernie Irvin are the front 5. There you see point leader Bill Elliott right in the midst of that pack. And Elliott's moving toward the front. He does not up there. He is just to the left of the windshield of Davey Allison's car and does not appear to be running all that conservative.
He's not, but if you notice, Davey's sticking right with him. I think his plan is to run whatever Bill runs and just keep him in sight. And maybe, you know, if he has a problem, he can move in and take advantage of it.
If Davey were to win both the last 2 races, Elliott must finish 5th or better in both to clinch the title. Let's go down to pit road, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, I monitored that situation with Davey Allison. I asked Larry McReynolds, the crew chief, if there was anything wrong with the car. He said thus far, the only thing Davey had said was, gosh, they're driving like a bunch of maniacs out here. So I have an idea he just dropped back and kind of let things settle down for a while.
Front straightaway, Ernie Irvin and Jimmy Spencer in the Allison car, number 12, just about got together. And watch number 10, Derek Cope. He started 13th. He's moved up to 8th, and he's coming fast. Cope will not drive that car next year. His plan's a little up in the air, but he's coming hard. From Mark Martin's car, you're looking ahead at that battle. Mike Walter right in there as well in the Pennzoil car.
Looks like Spencer cleared the 4 car and got around him.
I'll tell you one thing. Look at Mark Martin's car go down in the corner. He is much faster than the cars he's running down.
There's Martin underneath Mike Waltrip as they come off turn number 2. At the head of that pack, Jimmy Spencer, then Ernie Irvin, Derek Cope, Mike Waltrip, Mark Martin.
Good, Mike. Here we are showing the telemetry inside the car. Let's watch what kind of RPM we see here. We're coming up the front straightaway now. This is the shortest straightaway on the racetrack. Seeing 8,500 RPM. If it turns 85 here, what in the world is going to turn down that back straightaway with 500 more foot of racetrack? You usually see the highest RPM down this back straightaway. If they don't hold him up, the motor should turn a lot of RPM. 84, 87 RPM for just a second. Mark probably promised not to hold it wide open.
Yeah, he told Jack he wouldn't run it a tick over 8,500, right? Davey Allison comes underneath Bill Elliott, battling back. Jeff Bodine just ahead, Dale Jarrett, Rick Vance in the 1 car. No, this does not look conservative here.
You know, Davey said everybody's driving like wild man. Well, that's Winston Cup racing. They're all driving like wild man. It's down to 2 races to go. Everybody's wanting to win races.
And here comes Richard underneath Jeff Bodine. You're riding with the king.
Looks like they shuffled Dale Jarrett to the outside. The entire group got by him.
Back single file. Earnhardt all over Richard. Then Bobby Hamilton, Wally Dallenbach.
You can see out the front of Richard's windshield, although Davey Allison cleared that group and got him 2 or 3 positions on that.
Dale Jarrett dropping back. He's falling to the inside of the racetrack there.
I'll tell you what, Earnhardt was one of the fastest cars in practice, and Richard seems to be able to handle him pretty well right now.
Bobby Hamilton just behind Earnhardt. He's in a Ford today. Country time car.
There he comes down the inside of Earnhardt going down to turn 1. Earnhardt's trying the outside of Richard. Hard to make it on that outside here.
Dale Jarrett comes to pit road as we continue under green in lap 18. Jarrett will get right side tires. Richard Petty battling Dale Earnhardt. Back at 20th position.
We saw Dale Jarrett go to the outside. Looks like he might have had a tire problem. That group of cars passed him. He came into pits.
Gillette Halfway Challenge is part of today's race. Any guess who will lead the halfway lap? But if you stay tuned and you have sent in a postcard entry, Gillette may call you. And if you know who wins the halfway lap and the $10,000 that goes with it, you may win a Chevy Lumina. You can enter next week's challenge by riding the Gillette, Box 2246, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33731. You must be 18 or over. Send in your name and telephone number. And for the Atlanta race, you could be entered for that contest.
That's looking over the shoulder of the king right there. Richard's working the wheel. Earnhardt slipped up under him. Richard's not going to be content with that. He's wanting that position back.
Were you surprised how many loyal subjects the king has out here in the West Coast? They were stretched a couple of blocks to get autographs this weekend.
Yeah, I got shot in the foot this morning. I was out in the parking lot, and everybody said, "There's Buddy Baker, there's Buddy Baker." And a little kid come up and looked in the window and said, "Where's Petty?"
Dale Jarrett back in. He'll get left sides this time. Randy Pemberton.
Well, I just got the word from the crew that he just said that he had a tire going down, said Dale Jarrett. They came back in, changed 2 more on the left side. Evidently, they missed the first 2. It was on the left side of the automobile. So Dale Jarrett back out. All he said was he had a tire going down.
10-second pit stop the first time, 11.5. Second time for Dale Jarrett. Rusty Wallace leads this race. Sterling Marlin, Alan Kulwicki, Ricky Rudd, and Jimmy Spencer has climbed to the 5th spot now. 22 laps complete. There's a look at your top 5. First 3 just the way they've run since the drop of the flag. The rest of the top 10, Ernie Irvan, Derek Cope is right up there. Mike Waldron, Martin, and Schrader. Looking ahead to 1993, we asked Kirk Shelmerdine and Dale Earnhardt about next year.
Next year, we have some different ideas. I think this year was kind of we had a lot of problems and we fell out of some races, and it actually enabled us to do some development work in the races that we wouldn't normally try things we wouldn't normally try if we were running for the championship. I think we're going to take a little bit different direction in certain areas next year, and we'll see how it goes. You know, the competition gets tighter every week, and we don't have the edge we used to have. We're going to see what we can do about getting that back.
You know, it's had a bad years. All you can do is chalk it up and go into next year and look for 93. The team's positive, and we know we're winners. We've won, we've lost, so maybe it'll be our year next year.
We've had Old Blaze for 16 years. I mean, this Old Blaze. My husband uses it for all of his hunting and fishing trips. He and the dog absolutely love that car. Someday, when even AC Delco Parts can't keep it going, we'll just park it out back so he and the dog can sit in it and reminisce.
AC Delco Parts. It's like buying time.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on.
Spread the word around. Guess who's back in town?
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products. It's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
Coming up at 8:30 p.m. on race day, we'll be live from Phoenix, Arizona, and we'll have as our special guest the newly crowned Winston West champion. Dick Beatty, the retiring director of the Winston Cup Series, will also join us, and we'll have highlights from today's Pie-Roll 500. So be watching.
Race Day, second edition, 8:30 p.m. Eastern today on TNN Motorsports.
You're watching Rusty Wallace hard at work. A little boot cam action there. Feeds the throttle back in. Down the straightaway.
Rusty uses left foot braking. Watch when he gets that corner, he pick his left foot up, right on the brake, off the throttle. Just kind of feed the brake, let the car roll through. Feed the throttle a couple of times. With this racetrack, you can't just jump flat on it off. He's got to feed it up off the corner. He's doing a good job with it.
Look how good that car is handling. That steering shaft was hardly moving.
Rusty Wallace in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac has led all 30 laps. There's Sterling Marlin just behind. Alan Kulwicki runs third. In a position here to pick up some big points.
Alan's got to be wondering, hey, I'm this close, boy, if I could just move on up here and lead this thing for a lap. But that's not going to be easy where the leader's running.
You see Kyle Petty at the front of this pack. Now, Davey Allison has moved off past Kyle while we were under commercial and left him. So Davey's car is much better than when it started this race.
I think Davey's spotter said, look, you're getting behind pretty bad right now. You need to pick up the pace, and he's passing cars left and right now.
You saw Allison there, bottom of the screen, as we watch Petty, Brent Bodine, big brother Jeff, and Bill Elliott almost get into the back of the Bud Moore car there.
Looks like they had a little bit of contact coming up off turn 2 over there. I'm sure if Bill got on it, he got off in her. He can't afford to be in an accident.
You know, Mike, one thing about this racetrack, you get in the corner, it's pretty flat. If a guy comes across, you'll tag him in spite of everything because both of you are going in so hard. But you see that all the time where the second car hooks the first car.
Ernie Irvin up on the outside. Coming up and off the corner. That's for 7th place. Mark Martin and Ernie Irvin fight off turn number 4. Watching from Mark Martin's car. Pyroil, the sponsor of this race, makes automotive chemicals, brake clean and the like. That's part of Ashland Oil, which is Valvoline. It's one of their brand names. If you're not familiar with that Pyroil name, that's why you see their decal inside Mark Martin's car. He and Irvin keeping close tabs on one another there. 7th place at 34 laps. 6th is Derek Cope. 5th is Jimmy Spencer. 4th, Ricky Rudd. 3rd is Kulwicki. 2nd, Marlin. And the leader, Rusty Wallace.
Mike, here's a good indication. Last week at Rockingham, this is the first time we had this shot. We saw the suspension really jumping up, down, traveling a lot. This track is a lot smoother, not near as rough as Rockingham, but it's got weaker springs in it, so you still get a lot of rate travel. But
I was just fixing to say, you have the same amount of travel you had last week with the high banks and everything because you do spring them a lot softer for a flat track.
One of the biggest things I've seen, he sold 2 more ads on his A-frame. He got right. 4 sponsors down there up under the car.
Good year, and I see Butch Stevens been up and under there, too. Oh, boy. We have a report that Ted Musgrave had a brush with the turn 2 wall on the opening lap, but he's climbed back up into 9th position and running well. There's your point leader, Bill Elliott, in the Budweiser car, splitting the Bodine brothers, Jeff and Brett. 36 laps complete here at Phoenix International. There's your race leader, Rusty Wallace. Front 5 are pretty much unchanged. Derek Cope, a strong 6. There's the rest of your top 10.
Hey, I'm Harold.
I'm Jimmy.
Phil. Don. The Statler Brothers. And we're coming to your house with a brand new season, Saturday night, November 21st at 9 Eastern.
Statler Brothers season premiere, Saturday, November 21st on TNN.
The Nilo 15-minute car deal is a no-hassle way to buy a car with full service benefits. Full discount prices are marked on every 15-minute car deal. And within 15 minutes of picking out your new car, you're quoted the full value of your trade-in with a fully discounted price. For the best price with the greatest value, come to Nilo Lincoln Mercury Volkswagen at 2701 Arden Way, where Nilo saves you time and money.
Welcome back to Phoenix. 39 laps complete. Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker. Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton are on pit road today. You're watching Kenny Schrader, who runs in the 10th position, just behind Ted Musgrave and just ahead of Darrell Waltrip. That's how they finished yesterday's race, 1-2, Schrader and Waltrip. At the back of that pack, Davey Allison.
Ooh, did you see the back end on Michael Waltrip's car then? I mean, he is loose getting in the corner. He's doing a pretty good job just to hold that car on the racetrack.
And here's Elliott coming hard.
Look right there at the right front fender. When he was racing with Bodine a while ago, it looked like he tagged that right front a little bit and got the hood bucked up on the car a little bit. He can't afford much of that. If you mess up it a little bit here, it'll really slow the car down.
Let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm down in Bill Elliott's pit. Tim, he seems to be sliding backwards a little. Has he said anything about how the car is?
No, he didn't say anything about the car, Glenn. It's just one of those deals right now. Hot racetrack, hot tires. A guy in front of you holding you up just a little bit. You just can't do anything about it.
Elliott has cleared Kyle Petty, and that will move him up into the 15th position.
It's a good bit of damage to that car. And a little bit of tail rolled that right front headlight back, and it bucked the hood up. That's not so bad, but the air going in the carburetor disturbs a lot of things when you've been in front of those cars there.
How about cooling, Neil?
I don't think he damaged that part real bad, Mike. It looked like the right front headlight area. It looked like he did a lot of damage that day, buddy.
8th place here. Ernie Irvan and Ted Musgrave coming forward.
I tell you, that guy right there is going to be, I think he's one of the best upcoming stars that they have on the circuit right now, Neil. And I just can't wait to see his team get stronger because he's there now, I think.
Yeah, Musgrave's made a lot of gains. You know, he was offered the Richard Petty ride. He turned it down to stick with his team here. He felt like they had a lot of potential, and maybe they can grow together and really get where they can win races.
Those are pretty good race cars he's racing with right there. Ernie Irvan's a contender in any race, and he's giving them all they can stand.
That's 8th and 9th. Let's go up to 3rd place. Alan Kulwicki has been caught by Ricky Rudd. But still running right where they started. 2nd, 3rd, 4th there. Marlin, Kulwicki, and Rudd. Here's Randy.
I'm down here with Gary Ehart. Gary, the track seems to be coming to you. You look like you're challenging for 3rd now. What about it?
Yeah, right now we're looking pretty good. The tire thing is working real good. Our tire air and all. We geared up for the long run to see what was going to happen since it's been green's been a thing in the past. You know, we hadn't had that many cautions the last few races we run, so we geared up to run the long green thing.
Concerned about tire wear?
A little bit, but we're looking at the first set of tires. We're okay.
Ricky Rudd moving right up to Alan Kulwicki's back bumper, coming off that fine 3rd place run last week.
You know, the one thing that we all know is Ricky Rudd's probably as fine a greasy racetrack driver as there is out there. And you watch him, he'll move around on the racetrack and get the maximum out of that car. That may go back to the days when he was a motorcycle racer when he was younger.
He's having a good run here today as he did at Rockingham. Back at 8th place. Irvan and Musgrave's going to get inside him this time in this Ford versus Chevy battle. If the race ended right now, Bill Elliott would lead Davey Allison by 55 points. And Musgrave's going to complete the pass for 8th as Irvan sweeps a little high off the corner. And comes right back to him.
He was on that blind spot. Musgrave just happened to see him. That could have been bad right there because he started moving over.
Davey Allison and Kenny Schrader right behind them. Let's give you a Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa because there are no unimportant parts. Here's where your favorite drivers stand at 35 laps. We'll have some talk later in today's telecast about who goes where next year. No major announcements. There's a few surprises, and the rumor mill is running, I think, past the red line in some cases. Try to fill you in a little better as the day goes on. Davey Allison has moved right up on Irvan now. And there's Schrader in the picture and Darrell Waltrip. Let me tell you how tough a racetrack Phoenix is to decide a point championship. Yesterday, in the NASCAR Southwest Tour event, the point lead among 3 drivers changed at least 6 times and wasn't decided until the final lap.
Mike, and they saw some of the footage of the last lap at the top of the show. And I'm telling you, it was a knockdown, drag-out affair, and the guy ended up pushing his car across the start-finish line and won the championship.
It's more like a knockout, drag him into the truck.
Right.
On their floor pan affair. Battle here with Bobby Hamilton moving up on Richard Petty. Harry Gant there. This action back at 22nd position. Wally Dallenbach has just gone past these cars as of a couple of laps ago. Harry up on that high line. There's Kyle Petty battling Brett Bodine, Earnhardt, and Wally Dallenbach is moving up.
You know, this is the type of racetrack if Wally Dallenbach's going to have a great run on it. He's a tremendous road racer. These flat corners are right down his alley. He's giving them all they can stand right now.
Dallenbach, there he is, right side of your screen. He was underneath Dale Earnhardt that time. As Brett Bodine goes for Kyle Petty. And that's allowed Gant, Richard Petty, and Bobby Hamilton to catch this pack. They are 6 seconds from going a lap down to Rusty Wallace. But battling hard.
You know, Kyle must be having some kind of chassis problem because he drifted back in the field. He's starting right up front. They're going by him on the inside. He's really must be pushing or something.
Watching from Richard Petty's car. This has not been one of Kyle's better tracks. His best finish here, 20th last year. There, Dallenbach going to try the high side on Earnhardt. But Kyle Petty is right there.
You know, Mike, if it looks to the fans like that track's 100 foot wide there, it is.
No more.
Coming off turn 2, they get pretty brave. They put them 3 and 4 abreast out there. We've seen a lot of that this weekend.
Earnhardt and Dallenbach traded a little paint that time. You may see some sparks fly as you watch from Richard's car there.
Well, I got to tell you, if he passes Earnhardt on the outside, the middle of the corner, he'll get the Attaboy Award for the day. And he did. He's moving up.
Wally Dallenbach Jr. in the Keystone car of Jack Roush. Trying to work his way to the front. Now underneath Kyle Petty.
I think Dallenbach saw the way to do it was the inside. He got down the inside. He's going on by Kyle now.
18th position is that battle. Let's have a look at your top 10. Still Rusty Wallace at the head of the field. Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, Alan Kulwicki, and Jimmy Spencer. No change in the front 5. Derek Cope still a strong 6. Mark Martin, Ted Musgrave. Davey Allison moved up to a 9th after a slow start. Ernie Irvin is 10th. We asked Ernie Irvin about his outlook for the 1993 season.
Well, you know, it looks good as far as the way the car is running, and it's just a matter of being able to finish races, which we haven't been able to do as good as we need to this year. But as far as speed-wise and the competitiveness of our race team and developing the motors, I think we're in good shape to give everybody a run for it.
This is the $825 billion question. That's how much foreign corporations operating in the U.S. took in one year. But 72% of them didn't pay one dime in taxes, not one dime. And George Bush supports tax loopholes for foreign companies operating here. Supports them so much that he attacks Bill Clinton for wanting to close them. Bill Clinton wants to collect what foreign corporations owe and put the money to work to rebuild America. Clinton Gore, for people, for a change.
A reminder from Walmart. No matter who you are, no matter what you drive, there's one sure way to get more out of it. Regular oil changes with quality Haviland motor oil. When you add Haviland, you add more life to your car. And with Walmart savings every day of the year, you're not only miles ahead, you're dollars ahead too. Saving money at Walmart. It's an idea that's really catching on. Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
Performance and safety are important to me, whether I'm driving my race car or the family van. Seatbelts, guys. That's why I choose Trico windshield wiper blades. Trico wiper blades are built for performance and aerodynamically designed to improve my driving vision when and where I need it. Safe drivers win. Winning drivers choose Trico. There's no clearer choice.
With each new day, you find a way to be your best.
Gillette Sensor for the closest, safest shave ever.
You know you gotta be a little better than the rest.
Only Gillette Sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that sense and adjust to every detail of every face. Gillette Sensor, when you're the best, there's no feeling like it.
Gillette, the best of men can get.
At Phoenix, Arizona, under a blazing sun. We're under the first caution of the day. And all the cars on the lead lap have taken the occasion to pit. They've now come back out in much the same order as when they went out. Look at this piece of debris up by the wall in turn number 3.
Wow, that's almost a whole tire there. Somebody really had a problem.
It's a complete circle of the tire. Looks like the entire outer section came off the carcass.
Pits are now filled with cars 1 or more laps down, making their stops on the second lap when the pit lane is open.
A lot of people got a break there. Kyle Petty and a bunch of them were about to go a lap down. I mean, Rusty is hooked up and flying today.
Jimmy Hensley coming out, Dick Trickle, Dale Jarrett, who had an unscheduled pit stop. And here on pit road, John Krebs, the West Coast driver. Raymock boys, Butch Mock and Bob Rahilly involved with Krebs' car. told this weekend he'd like to make the move up to Winston Cup. Circumstances permit. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I've gotten Buddy Parrott to come down off of the toolbox there from his vantage point. Buddy, you guys are really hooked up. That car looks great.
I tell you what, this Penske racing team, I tell you what, they just did a great job on the pit stop. You know, they've done a great job all week long preparing this Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. And I'll just tell you, I told you in Rockingham, you know, we've got to put this thing off till Phoenix, and hopefully we can do it.
Well, Rusty's got to be